Okay, why we should all learn to live on lentils. So a nice little Stoic story for you to start with. So on seeing the philosopher Diogenes eating bread and lentils, fellow philosopher Aristippus, who lived comfortably by flattering the king, said to him, "If you would learn to be subservient to the king, you would not have to live on lentils." Diogenes replied, "Learn to live on lentils and you will not have to be subservient to the king." Now there's a story in there, and I'm sure that all of you at some stage have seen this before. Sucking up, arse-kissing, brown-nosing, blowing smoke up someone's arse. They're just all slightly snarky and definitely bum-themed ways of referring to someone's subservient behaviour. You probably aimed those phrases at someone yourself at some point. That kid at school who was always volunteering for stuff, a total suck-up. And what about when the new lad started complimenting the popular kids, hoping to be welcomed into the inner circle? What a bum lick. Despite the childish nature of these insults, which are almost always, certainly among school-aged kids, accompanied by an element of jealousy, sucking up or being subservient is often a bit of a survival mechanism. No one wants to be left out or feel like a social outcast. And for some, blowing a bit of smoke up someone else's arse can be the only way to get a foot on the ladder of social hierarchy. But what about as adults? Surely we outgrow such immature behaviour and name-calling as we come into our own and better know who we are as people. Sadly, not always the case. We've all known an office brown nose or a try-hard, and the truth is, who we are at school tends to follow us into adulthood. There will always be arses, just as there will always be someone willing to blow smoke up one. And brown-nosing, it seems, is something of a national workplace pastime. Harmless, perhaps, funny even, particularly if you happen to be the person sucked up to, so to speak. Brown nose is certainly not a title that anyone wants, but if using excessive flattery and agreeing that the sky is green, if that's what the boss so decrees, can you help to get ahead? It's a moniker some people will merely shrug at and learn to live with. They don't care. Being subservient or licking someone's boots works because of how human beings work. We seek out and thrive off of approval and compliments. If someone is feeding our ego, whether the flattery is sincere or not, it makes us respond more positively to that person and the situation, and generally makes us feel good about ourselves in the process. It could be that you're dealing with a kiss ass at work right now. Can you think of someone who is continually and constantly complimenting the ideas of those higher up, agreeing with their boss, even when they're not around to hear it, throwing co-workers under the bus so that they can look good in front of the management or the boss? And what about when you vent about your boss and somehow what you've said gets back to them? That, my friend, is the work of the brown nose. Chances are, if you've worked with someone like this, they tend to be the butt of the office jokes among everyone else, except by those who are having their asses well and truly kissed, obviously. But why should they care? They're not the ones eating lentils, are they? But what price to pay? There are the people who don't get invited for drinks after work and whom nobody wants to get out, a Secret Santa present for at Christmas. They probably don't have any friends that they consider equals because they surround themselves with people whom they constantly have to flatter to make them feel more than they are. Brown nosing certainly isn't for everyone. There are definitely a lot of people out there who would rather eat the bloody lentils than compromise their integrity and end up with fewer mates. But for those of you who are subservient in character, it's normally pretty inbuilt and difficult to stop. Suck-ups use flattery to hide their own feelings of incompetency and inadequacy and their own insecurities, and they feed off the constant approval from those who are higher up. They don't care that the other people have noticed and are reacting negatively to it because, in their eyes, it's going to benefit them in the end and in the work they do. And in the short term, perhaps it does. certainly in the work environment. However, we all know that the more someone compliments you, the less it means. It loses its shine and sparkle and just becomes words. You stop hearing it in the end, or it just annoys you. People who are constantly having smoke blown up their asses are going to get annoyed eventually too, or worse, will become apathetic and start to take advantage of the subservient soul who can't do enough for them. Wouldn't you rather eat lentils than continue to feed the ego of someone who, quite frankly, doesn't really give a shit? This is more common in groups of younger people who haven't really found their way in the world yet. There seems to be a suck-up in most social groups that one person will always lend some money and won't hassle them when they don't pay it back. Doesn't seem to worry if you lose that bag that they lent you, and will always fawn over how great everyone looks, normally while simultaneously putting themselves down. And initially, this person is very well liked. And why not? They would do anything for you. They make you feel good about yourself. Nothing is too much trouble. But eventually, their behaviour becomes grating, and it's easy to be careless with their feelings and take advantage of their desire to kiss arse at any cost. In a professional situations, the reactions of the people being sucked up to, for want of a better word, can be quite different. I'm not saying that situations don't occur where subservient personalities are completely taken advantage of in the workplace. I'm sure it happens every day. But in most professional settings, being a brown nose isn't going to endear you to your superiors. It's just going to make you look bad. Managers will assume that you're just trying to compensate for a lack of skill or knowledge. You look desperate and lacking in confidence. Not a good look if you're hoping that all of this bootlicking is going to get you promoted. Seriously, the second you put yourself in a position of subservience, that is how you will be perceived. Not ideal if you're aiming for higher standing. Perhaps you've been reading this and have realised with growing dread that I've been talking about you. Maybe you're someone who grew up with low self-esteem and felt like an outsider. Perhaps you're the person who tried to ingratiate themselves with popular or higher groups by kissing a bit of arse. Better than being left on the sidelines, right? But somewhere along the way, the slightly fawning behaviour spilled over into subservience. And now, sure, you're not eating lentils, but you're not really where you want to be either. So start making healthier connections with the people around you. Being friendly, genuine, and interested is going to earn you far more points professionally and personally than being a kiss arse. You're everyone's equal. You don't need to be blowing smoke up anyone's arse in order to get respect. In fact, it's more likely to have the opposite effect. So eat those lentils, be your authentic self, and leave the butt sniffing to the dogs. Come on, do it now. And if you've enjoyed this video, please watch the next video just here, or subscribe to my YouTube channel just here.